Welcome back to Theoretical Nonsense. Today we're going to be discussing Season 5, Episode 4, The Wiggly Finger Catalyst, and we're going to be diving into American Sign Language. Stay tuned. Welcome to Theoretical Nonsense, the Big Bang Theory watch-along podcast. No PhD required.
We're the podcast that recaps all the episodes of The Big Bang Theory. No spoilers.
So hop into your favorite spot,
Make yourself a grasshopper,
and enjoy the ride. Hello there, Ryan.
Hey, Rob, how's it going?
I'm doing amazing because we just watched The Wiggly Finger Catalyst.
Wiggly Finger Catalyst.
Yeah, wiggle, 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 wiggle.
It's funny because, I read that, I'm like, what the hell does that mean? And, I only have one IQ point for this. And it actually brought it in, a little bit. No IQ points at all?
No, because I did try to look up some things, but they failed, so I'm just not counting them.
I think I had two others that failed as well. I'm just or maybe one merged, but I have one that I feel like it's a decent IQ point. I'll count it as an IQ point. It's not the best we've ever had, but it brings in the wiggle fingers.
I actually did do a little bit of research on something that actually required me to reach out to someone.
Ooh.
So it's not but I'm not going to count it as an IQ point. It's just not, I'll get to it when I get to it, but just a little teaser for what's going to happen and what we're going to talk about. Little wiggle teaser.
Wiggle.
But before we get started, we have an email at theoreticalnonsensepod@gmail.com. We love emails. We also love 5-star reviews, so give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and we'll give you a shout out. We're also on YouTube, lacking video these days, but I don't think anyone really cares. If anybody really cares, shoot us a message and we may or may not change.
Reconsider? I don't think my pretty face was pretty enough. People didn't care.
Well, we actually did get an email.
Yeah. Hello, Ryan and Rob. My name is Brittany B, and I'm a huge fan of your podcast. I have seen every episode of The Big Bang many times. It is definitely my comfort show. I just finished the season 4 recap, and you guys are doing a great job. I really enjoy listening to you all deep dive the facts, and I have heard so many times while watching the show. Keep up the great work. I love it. Thank you so much,
Thanks, Brittany. And hopefully you're just listening and not watching on YouTube, because you might be disappointed.
Although if you like our faces that much, just let us know.
We will endure the processing of the video. But all right, and this is also the last episode before Christmas. So Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas. Is it that time again? Wow.
Yep, I know. It's kind of crept up on us. All right. Well,
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, everyone. Here, Merry Christmas. Here's an episode.
Yeah. Our gift to you.
Hopefully it's entertaining. Oh, but that's actually speaking of gifts, but like a reminder is that our 100th episode is actually coming up soon.
Oh yeah.
So
it's like 3 episodes away?
For anyone paying attention, we are about 5 episodes away.
5.
Yep, so we have some time to think of some really good stuff to give away.
Something fun.
Yep. We'll think of something for our 100 episode extravaganza. But if anyone out there is counting with us, it's going to be season 5, episode 9, the Ornithophobia Diffusion.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah. So that's going to be our 100th episode. So I know Ryan and I have talked about doing something special for everyone. So hopefully we'll be able to pull through and think of something. Got a little bit of time. Overall thoughts of the episode.
I thought it was hilarious. Not some character development on different ends. A little bit of a filler. I feel like partially getting Howard and Bernadette to the aisle, getting married, that we can't jump straight to that. So it's giving some build up to that. And I really appreciate that. They're referencing it a little bit. Priya's not in it, but we get some reference to her, and Leonard still working on dating her, making that work. And it's a Raj heavy episode. I enjoy him. I enjoy his interactions with women. So that was fun. Very little Bernadette and Amy actually, but they were in it for a little bit. All in all, I really liked it. Although we already said not much IQ points for this one, so that was kind of a bummer. But still, I thought it was a solid episode nonetheless.
Yeah, I really like Raj heavy episodes. Raj actually is one of my favorites, and it is interesting seeing him finally date someone. We're finally on to season 5, and this is like basically his first like pretty much girlfriend. Like
Yeah.
she doesn't last long. She only lasts the episode, but it's still like the first girlfriend that he's had this season. He's like hooked up with some girls here and there, but like yeah.
When he's drunk, he talks them on trains, but this is the first actual, and technically it's only one episode, but they were together for like a month, right? So it kind of
That's
flashes
true.
forward.
Yes.
So it lasts a little while, and yeah.
Yeah. So we get to see him actually in an actual relationship. I do kind of wish they drew it out a little bit more, but I'm sure they just didn't want to pay the the actress.
Yeah.
But one thing, I was thinking of starting like as I've been watching this, as we're diving more into deeper into the series, there are going to be some things that kind of connect to later seasons and towards the end of how it all like ends and everything like that. I
Mhm.
wasn't sure how you felt about an earmuffs section. Because for any new listeners out there, this is Ryan's first time watching The Big Bang Theory. So he's doing this no spoilers. And there are some things that we could mention in the podcast just that connects, but I don't want to spoil it for you. You know, it's like
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to incorporate that or should I just hold my tongue? Because
I'm
I know
inclined.
some audience members might be like wanting to like hear like, oh, how do you feel about this and this and this and everything? And I know we don't want to spoil it for you, but I kind of want to talk about some stuff, but I don't have to.
Um, I don't want anything spoiled for me. Would you like it where I go silent for a little bit and you talk a little bit, or just like,
That yeah, that's what I meant like an
yeah,
earmuffs, like
earmuffs?
Ryan earmuffs, and then you could
Yeah,
like take you could actually take your headphones off if you want to,
and you
unless you're
just wave
really
at
good
me
at
when you need me
I know,
again.
or you're really good at reading lips.
Mm.
Because I got ahead on some notes for the next episode too, and actually have an earmuff section too there. So that's actually what kind of inspired me. I was like, huh, there's 2 episodes where I kind of want to bring something that kind of ties some things. And I'm not going to say anything to you, but like there's some things like with the overall storyline amongst all 12 seasons that can be brought up and everything like that. But again, I don't want to
Fair.
spoil you.
You want me to take my headphones off? I can cover my ears.
All right, do it. Do
All
it.
right, just wave at me when you need me. Okay, they're off.
Okay. All right, Ryan earmuffs. So, with the whole like what I want to say, I don't know if anybody else agrees with this, but the Raj storyline with his relationships just in general kind of pisses me off. Like this is kind of like the start of his many failed relationships, and the thing that bums me out the most is I feel like Raj never really learns anything throughout the entire series, and then the whole series ends with him being alone and not really learning anything. And and it starts with this. You see how terrible he is with girls and even being in a relationship, and then it just kind of continues and continues with every girl that he dates, and then seeing him alone at the very end just broke my heart. So that's something that I just couldn't not talk about this episode. So thanks for listening to that little rant. Again, no spoilers to Ryan. If you please send an email about what you think about Raj's relationship, but on the title of the email, make sure that it's spoiler for Ryan. So make sure that he doesn't read it. All right, we're good.
I'm back.
And you read my lips the entire time. You
Well,
know
I did have
exactly what I was
closed
talking about.
captions on.
Well, I did say if people want to comment on what I just said, on an email, make sure that they title it in a way that it's spoiler free, like
Mm.
spoiler for Ryan. Don't read.
I'll do my due diligence to make sure that happens. So I've been doing pretty good on like doing research and like closing stuff where I'm like that might be a giveaway and I don't want to fall into that. I feel like there's been a couple of things. I got a little one today that I'm sad I got it, but it's not a huge deal. The guest star, I did see she comes back for another episode, and I don't know what episode. Just when I looked, it said 2 episodes, so I know that she's not. She's gonna be there at some point. I don't know. It could be the last episode. It could be the next episode. Don't know. It's yeah. So I try my best.
Yeah, that's hard on IMDb because like what we look up who the actors and actresses are just to give like a little background information, but it definitely tells you.
Right? Yeah.
So you knew that Priya pretty much has like a time limit.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
remember what the time limit was, but at one point I did see what it is. It's something I tried to forget too. I'm like, I'm just not gonna look at it.
Yeah, just yeah.
And
Well, all right. Any other things before we get started?
uh, I I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it.
All right, let's dive in. So, this is season 5, episode 4, The Wiggly Finger Catalyst, aired October 6th, 2011, written by Bill Prady, Stephen Molaro, and Steve Holland, directed by Mark Sandrowski. So, opening scene, we're in the apartment, and the guys are playing Dungeons and Dragons. And they're asking Howard about his wedding plans, and Howard's a little stereotypical, feeling the dread, annoyed that he had to go out and do registry, that he's going to have an earthenware asparagus dish on the list. Sheldon is guiding them through their quest, and they come across a dungeon and a dragon. And then Howard kind of makes that little comment about, like, really? We're playing Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to come across a dungeon and a dragon. So this would have been my first IQ point. Was
Hmm.
I thought that was a weird thing because it's like, of course it's Dungeons and Dragons. Of course there's going to be a dungeon and a dragon. I know it's not going to be in every quest, but having it on there is not a ridiculous thing.
Dragons are a big part of the monsters, like the upper monsters you fight for treasure and stuff.
Yeah, so I wanted to look up how many maps and quests actually do feature a dungeon and a dragon.
Hmm.
But I couldn't because there are just too many guidebooks. There's like
Hmm.
hundreds of different guidebooks. Some of them are official, some of them are non-official, some are from a company that's affiliated with Dungeons and Dragons, with Wizards of the Coast. It's the parent company. It was just way too many, and a lot of people don't necessarily use the guidebooks. They kind of just create their own and
Yeah.
everything like that. So then there was like what's official, what's not official.
And the
So
different
honestly,
editions too, right? They're on fifth
yeah.
edition, but like there are more editions, so each one has different quests. Yeah.
Yeah, so I couldn't really figure it out, but in my mind I'm thinking, Howard, why gotta be like that?
I was gonna say that there was the part where he makes a joke about coming to an ogre too, and Sheldon's like, "What do you say to the ogre?" And he's like, "Hey, Ma, what's for dinner?" I feel like if you played this regularly, those jokes would get really old very quickly. And like, oh, we're playing Dungeons and Dragons. It's a dragon, but for us, I think it was really funny. It was just yeah, I'm like, man, I probably stopped playing with Howard sooner rather than later, if he was making those jokes, because yeah, what can you expect? It's Dungeons and Dragons, there's gonna be fucking dragons. You know it. We know it, you know it, everybody knows it. There's a dragon somewhere.
Unless they just played like a week earlier and he did a similar map. I don't know.
Like every day there's a new dragon. Like, okay, I'm tired of dragons. By the
I
way,
will
I'm
never be
building
tired of dragons.
on Halloween. I started building the Lego D&D set, and last Christmas I got this. I Two sets I really wanted since they came out was this one. I think it looks so awesome. There's a giant dragon. There's castles and stuff. But I also want. Have you seen the Eye of Sauron from Lord of the Rings in Lego?
Yeah.
It's huge and it looks so amazing to me. It's also like $400. It's like, oh, that's maybe more, maybe almost 500 now. But this one is totally badass. These are like the two, and so I'm like just giddy putting it together. And they have like all the fun stuff. They have the gelatinous cube with like a guy like dissolving in it. They have a what um mime like a treasure chest with teeth, but it's also a bed with teeth. I love it. I wish I played Dungeons and Dragons, but yeah, it's a fun set.
Yeah, I know. I never actually played it. None of my friends were interested in it. I remember in college I played a game similar to it, but it
Mm,
wasn't. It was one of those imagination role playing games, and
mm.
I loved it. It was so much fun. I wish I had more people to play D&D with, but
And do like regular games once a week or something, right?
yeah.
Like even getting people together like for a once a month board game, it's like herding cats. Like they say they really want to, but like it takes a commitment, it takes time, it takes effort, and like in theory it's fun, but like they really have to be diehard fans to get going that often and stick with the same story.
Yeah, and there's always that one person that gets invited that doesn't take it serious, that just is
Mm.
there to snack and socialize. So then they kind of like
Coward.
slow the game down. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll do a. Well, no, I don't think that's possible. I was like, you and me, let's D&D together. But it's like, well, one of us has to be the DM.
Oh.
So don't know how that's gonna work, but we'll figure something out. Well, Leonard is trying to be all cool that like, oh, it's great having a girlfriend not around. I could do whatever I want. And then Howard calls it straight and says, "You mean like playing nerd games with us and then taking suspiciously long showers?" And the look on on Leonard's face is like, "Oh,
Mhm.
you were timing me." Oh.
I have to say with that, I always, I don't know, take it personally when people mention long showers because I've always taken long showers and like I get out of them and people are like, "We know what you were doing." I'm like, "I just take long showers." God, no, everybody thinks I'm doing stuff.
Have you
Uh,
seen this beard? It requires its own separate conditioner.
I need to massage it for 5 minutes. It's basically a Kobe beef beard.
And I was exfoliating in there. Well, Raj is inhaling a whole pie, and he's sad that he's the only one alone. And he's like, "Oh, I don't want to play anymore." And then Sheldon's like, "Oh, because you don't have a girlfriend? Well, good lord, if that becomes a reason to not play D&D, this game's in serious trouble." Right on the nose.
Right? They're probably the odd ones out for playing with girlfriends,
Yeah.
but
Well, now we have the credits, and now we cut over to Penny's apartment. The girls are waxing themselves. They're kind of. It looks like they're doing their hands, some sort of like spa
paraffin
thing.
wax, treatment or
Paraffin.
what? Paraffin, and not the soy wax blend, not the beeswax.
Not beeswax. If you haven't, check out our episode from a couple weeks, no, about a month ago, where we talked paraffin wax.
Paraffin wax. Is it dangerous or is it not so
Listen to the
dangerous?
episode and find out. Well, Amy hints that she wants to be a bridesmaid, and she also makes a slight move on Penny as she mentions her nether regions.
I noticed
one of
that.
one of the many that will come this season. They mention Raj third wheeling that they went cake shopping and he cried and ate half the samples. And they want to set him up with someone, and Bernadette mentions a girl that's married to a guy in one of her drug trials, but hints that he's not going to make
He's in the placebo group. So mean.
Don't be so happy about that. Well, now we're at the Cheesecake Factory, and Sheldon is experimenting with D&D dice. That the dice will make all of his decisions. For dinner, he ends up with a side of succotash and a pitcher of margaritas. When
I
he's
didn't know
really
what
seeing,
succotash was until this.
oh no,
Yeah, apparently it's just corn and lima beans. Like I'm sure I've had it, but I was like, what the fuck is succotash? Isn't that like
well, if
put
you say it like that, it doesn't sound very good. But it's usually like seasoned quite well.
cooked? It's not just raw.
It could be steamed, it could be stir fried. Add a little garlic to it. It'll be fine. It's delicious.
I was like, I thought he was speaking like Daffy Duck for a second. What does he say? Suckering succotash or whatever? I don't know.
Yeah, suffering
So-
succotash. I
I
remember the
didn't know
first
that was
time.
something.
Yeah, it's definitely something. It's not the best. I'm sorry,
It's
but
not the best.
but I do remember making at one of the restaurants that I worked at, and I wish I was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't terrible. I was like, okay, I
Mm,
could eat this. I'll never make it on my own. I'll never put it on my own home menu, but it's all right.
it's all right. It's food.
Yeah. But Sheldon is thinking about burgers and lemonade. Well, Penny comes over and grabs Howard. He thinks that she wants to show her coworkers that he could fit in the booster seats.
That
I
was
like how
great.
that was
I'm
great.
not doing that
Just that,
again.
like, not again. I wonder how
So
many
he's
times she's made him do that.
right. He's done it before. How many times?
Knowing Howard, it was probably like 3 or 4 times because he thinks that he's being like impressive to like, and then maybe he'll get a girl's phone number, I guess. But then he realized, oh, they're just mocking me.
They're just making fun of me. This isn't good.
Well, the guys question Sheldon's logic, but he's sure that it'll help clear his mind. And on and honestly, I totally get it. Like when you actually don't like, I've actually experienced something like this before, where I cleared myself of mundane things, like
Hmm.
especially with what you're going to eat. And this happened to me when I decided to fast for three
Mhm.
days. Those were like three of the most productive days that I've ever had because without thinking about food, I just got things done. It was crazy.
There
Didn't
is
have
something to be
dishes,
said
didn't have
about
cleaning, didn't shop.
what's that called with decision paralysis? Like when you have too many decisions. Studies. I think we've talked about it. If somebody gives you 10 options, most likely you won't buy any of the options. If they give you 3 options, people are more likely to buy one of the 3. But if you give them too many options, they freeze up and just give up. So it's like, what do I make for dinner? I have 20 things I can make and I just don't know what I want to eat. And like an hour goes by, we're just looking at shit in the pantry. Maybe not an hour, but it adds up and it's taxing. It's kind of emotionally draining. Like, what do I pick? So I can see that. I think the most I've ever fasted was one day and I hated it. I hated it so much. I'll forget to eat for a day, but when I'm like deliberately not eating for a day, it's painful. Like I want to eat now.
It's shocking. Like if I walk into it knowing I'm not going to eat, I'm actually totally fine. But I get hangry when I'm expecting food at a certain point and then I don't get
Uh,
it. So if I go into a day knowing, like mentally preparing myself and just knowing you're not eating today, I'm
yeah.
actually like fine. It's kind of weird. But this isn't about fasting. We need to talk about Emily because Penny
Emily.
brings Emily from her spin
Ben
class
Glass.
for Raj, and they all kind of like panic a little bit, especially Raj. He's like, "Oh my god, what do I do?" And then we find out that she's deaf, and Howard is translating in sign, which I don't remember, but since this is your first time watching the whole series, it's a lot fresher on your mind. This is the first time they've ever shown Howard do this, right?
It wasn't surprising to me, but I don't recall him doing it before. For what that's worth, I don't know. I don't remember specifically being told, but at the same time, I was like, yeah, I'm not surprised he was doing it. So I don't know if we've heard it or it was suggested, but I don't remember it being a big issue before. If it was mentioned, it was like a side note.
Or is this like the Mandela effect or something like that, where it's just like we
It
all
could
just
be.
like he just
Forgot it.
because I know he mentioned that he spoke several languages in the past, but
Hmm.
I don't recall. I tried looking it up too, but I just couldn't find the answer, and I wasn't sure if they mentioned it before.
We
I
go
think this
back
might,
and watch, and it mentions it every single episode. He's like, "Guys, I know sign language." I'm like, where did this come from?
but it was funny because I think that this is around the time in How I Met Your Mother where Ted showed that he knows sign language, and it was kind of the same thing. It just kind of came out of nowhere. It's like, oh, by
Mm,
the way, the main character knows sign
that's
language.
right.
I guess you
Surprise.
just gotta move the storyline forward. So
Yeah.
whatever.
But I'm okay with him knowing it because he's also the one without the PhD. So it gives him more depth to his character, while everybody else might have their different fields. Like he knows other things that they don't know. So I was okay with that.
Yeah. Well, we meet Emily, and we understand why Raj is single because he really sucks at communicating with her, even when she's deaf. Just play it cool, babe.
Just
Whatever.
like, oh, whatever.
Well, Emily is played by Katie Leclerc. Not deaf in real life, but apparently she is hard of hearing in real life. So she actually does know sign language, like going into this. She has something called Meniere's disease, which causes a fluctuating hearing loss. But she's been in shows like Veronica Mars, Community, which I honestly don't remember her. I usually remember all the guest stars, but I don't remember her. And then she's just been in a bunch of stuff I've never seen. Just a lot of Christmas movies, TV movies, and random shows.
I was gonna say I've not seen it, but I do know of ABC's Switched at Birth. I've heard about that. And one of the Christmas movies she's in caught my attention. There's one I think called Wisconsin Christmas Pie. And that's two of my favorite things: food, pie, and not Wisconsin Christmas. Wisconsin's not one of my favorite things, but Christmas pie.
Yeah, screw Christmas, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. So I want to watch it. Yeah, that's got me interested. Christmas pie.
Well, like I said, he tries to act all cool, and Howard is just a good friend and makes him look good. He's like, "Whatever, babe," and he's like, great seeing you. We'll call you."
So I had
And
an
then,
IQ point here about ASL, American Sign Language, because Raj is afraid that she's being sarcastic with her sign language. And I was curious if you can even be sarcastic. How would you be sarcastic? And I found some interesting things, and it's going to tie into something that we've talked about before a little bit. So I found this at a couple one website called handspeak.com. I did a Reddit forum, I did a Quora forum, and I did some YouTube videos as well. But according to handspeak.com, well, basically everywhere there is sarcasm in ASL and sign language. However, it's not really different signs. Um, Handspeak.com suggested that with not sarcastic, but emphasized language for whatever reason, you might see gestures and hands separated a little bit more in bolder movements, not just really small movements. So it's actually part of the signing itself and how you're expressing them. Uh, but also, it referenced this interesting study that suggests that when things are being emphasized, there is a slight pinky extension. And it had some pictures of people emphasizing signs with their pinky extended just slightly. And I don't know sign language. I'm not an expert in any way, shape, or form, but I thought that was an interesting statement that when people are really going, they'll just stick out their pinky a little bit, I guess. That's the way I understand it. But what I found through all the rest, that facial expressions are really important, and also duration of the sign. So if you're emphasizing something or you're being snarky or sarcastic about it, like just the gesture itself will be a little bit different, and you'll take longer with it. But also like your face. In fact, a lot of them said that eye rolling or looking off, like, yeah, rolling your eyes or blinking slowly or something like that, will help indicate that you're being sarcastic or you're emphasizing something differently while you're signing. It's about the body language. Reddit also said that when you're emphasizing stuff, maybe not just for sarcasm, but emphasizing, repeating the word. So doing the same sign over and over again to really establish the importance of it. But also body gestures. Yeah, this is the one where it said blinking, just like stopping and blinking while you're signing, or tapping your foot like you're annoyed or something could give an indicator. Spelling out words instead of signing, I didn't think about that, where if they're really wanting to indicate something or they're being like sarcastic with the emphasis, they won't do the gesture for it, they'll spell it out to really say these are the letters WOW or OMG, as opposed to the sign for, I don't know if there's a sign for oh my god. Cora said that for emphasis, and I only found one person really talking about this, but I brought it up because it kind of coincided with the extension of the pinky. That there's some suggestion that a extended middle finger in signs could indicate sarcasm, either consciously or subconsciously. That just the way people do it, that they're extending their middle finger, and it's a sign that it's supposed to be taken sarcastically. Again, I didn't find anything official on that. It's kind of hard finding official stuff, anyways, because I guess the way language is, everybody uses it a little bit differently. But that one person said so. Other things that core people on Quora said, multiple people making different expressions with your face. One interpreter said they often actually struggled with sarcasm, and they would. In fact, this is interesting because they were an interpreter, they're a translator. While they were translating, sometimes they would get to spelling out and explaining the joke as opposed to just hoping the joke landed. But if you have to explain the joke, if it's sarcasm, it doesn't make as much sense. So, or it's not as funny, I guess. You might understand, oh, supposed to be sarcasm, doesn't really indicate the humor of the joke. So some people are just like, sarcasm is tough. But again, the head movements, the signing speed, the rhythm, the forcefulness, the prolongation of signs. Some people said that they use specific signs to contrast information. And by contrasting information, they're able to indicate a sarcastic feel. Apparently, there are also signing modifications, such as exaggerating the signs, like I said, being more exaggerated and expressive as opposed to really simple with your hand gestures, I suppose. Then I brought up, and this is what ties back to other stuff, adding quotation marks, the air quotes, right? This is great. Apparently, air quotes are not used for sarcasm and should not be used for sarcasm in ASL or BSL, British Sign Language, and a couple other ones I was saying that if you use air quotes, you are literally saying this is either quoted material word for word, or you are saying, in fact, most people I saw said that it basically means topic. Like you are quoting a title, like Titanic. If you use quotes, the movie Titanic, Avatar, Alien, Back to the Future, you're giving a title of something, a book, a movie. And if you try to do that sarcastically, it's not going to make sense because the sign means here comes title now. So, anyways, I found that yeah, sign language can be done sarcastically. It can be tough to do, but most likely you would know somebody's being sarcastic based on their body language, even if you don't speak the sign language. So that's what I came up with, that it does exist. If anybody knows more sign language, feel free to reach out. We can share your message because I think this is fascinating. I know very little sign language. I know thank you, which every now and then I do come what is it like yeah I've been around deaf people and I've said thank you and like they've looked at me like why would you know that. I'm like I just like one thing I picked up, I know nothing else. But so that's all I know, but I think it's fascinating and would love to learn more.
Science pretty fun. You actually learn a lot with they encourage that with children, especially when they're like toddlers, because they
Mm,
will understand hand gestures before they
more.
can speak.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more than stop.
So,
Um shit, what was water? Um I already forgot. My kid speaks now, so I guess I don't really need to know them. I've been working on stop though to really emphasize stop because he's like such a he's such a cannonball that like when you yell stop or tell him to stop, he doesn't get it. So I'm like trying to like really emphasize like saying stop and doing the sign.
yeah.
Doesn't work. So I'll have to figure something else out. But yeah, but sign is pretty cool. And
you know
like I was kind of like what you were saying. I would have figured it's all facial expressions as they're doing it. Like if they're like having an attitude or something like that, they may like look a little
mhm.
bored or like a little annoyed or something like that as like they're signing like drink your water. Oh.
Yeah. I was going to add too, I didn't want to make this a whole different IQ point, but it kind of goes with it because later on, Raj is going to mention Bollywood, and Howard does a gesture where he puts his hands above his head and kind of wiggles like a dancer or something. And I don't know what he signed, but I feel like it was probably a little bit racist, and inaccurate too, because from what I found, according to Google AI, if you were going to say Bollywood, you would have to say India movie. And according to lifeprint.com on YouTube, the videos, to say India movie, you would put your thumb on a dot on your forehead as if it's like the third eye, and that means India, my understanding. And then movie, my understanding, this confuses me because you're supposed to really consider your dominant hand, and I'm ambidextrous. So I'm like, which hand's my dominant? Like, it messes with me. But you're supposed to use one hand that's flat with, how was it? Yeah, flat, and the other hand up towards it. I had thumb up against it, but something like that. One hand flat and horizontal, the other hand vertical and up, and it kind of waves like a moving sign or something back and forth. And that moves means movie. I think I wrote it down wrong because I can't put my thumb there. Oh, maybe like I don't know. one of the
We
ways.
chose a hell of an episode to not do video.
Right? It's so yeah, if you're listening, my hands are doing the right thing. I'm doing it perfectly. I guarantee it.
We are
No.
fluent in ASL.
Yeah. Do, 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 do. So
I learned
that
that's spider.
spider
I was at music class with my kid, and we were doing some songs, and like that's spider.
spider. That's what when I was a kid, somebody's like fat man walking is like two fingers that are like upside down peace sign on ground and they bounce back and
Aw,
forth.
that's so mean.
Right? And I was like in third grade when I learned it too. I'm like, if you ever need to know fat man walking, it's this. I'm like, and we're all doing it to each other. I'm like, well, kids are like, why would you give kids this information?
What's skinny man walking? Just normal walking?
Just normal walking.
Fat man walking.
No, no, no.
Well, I do think that this kind of does coincide with Howard getting it wrong, because he does admit like he doesn't know all the science, because Raj asked him to sign something else, and he's like, I don't know how to sign that. I don't even know what that is. Spell it then. I don't even know how to spell it.
What is it, opalescent or something?
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
You have nice eyes.
Yeah,
Well, anything else on ASL or sign?
that's all I have.
Cool. Well, Sheldon continues to roll the dice, and this time he hopes for a hot fudge sundae. And bam, he gets it. That's what I'm talking about. And this is like, dude, if you want something, if you know you want something, that's not a mundane decision then. If you already know that you want it, just
It makes it better when you roll a
creating.
critical roll and you get your Sunday. It just feels better.
Okay, that's fair.
No, I agree. If
Now,
you want a Sunday, you get
yeah.
the Sunday.
Yeah, if you want cheeseburgers and lemonade, just get the cheeseburger and lemonade. How is this succotash and pitcher of margarita? Well, now we're at a coffee shop, and Raj and Howard are at a table trying to strategize. And Raj wants to make a deaf joke. What a dumbass.
Yeah.
He's like, I was thinking of saying, hey, did you hear about the. Oh, I bet you didn't. And Howard just being like the actual voice of reason, like, no, don't do that. No joke. And then he goes over the top and wants to be romantic. And this is where we already mentioned the opalescent. He wants to tell her, oh, it doesn't matter if you're late. Tell her that her eyes shimmer like opalescent lilies in the lake of the palace of the celestial maidens. It's like, wow.
And this is where I did a failed IQ point. I know celestial maidens. There's legends and myths throughout history about beautiful dancers coming from the heavens, but I wasn't sure if there were specific ones. I didn't know when he said the celestial maiden palace. The palace was like, was this the palace where like they're known to have carvings in some palaces, or is there a palace in one of the myths where they live up in the sky? Like, there were too many questions, and I just was like, I read like 3 pages. I'm like, I'm not getting anywhere closer to answering this. I'm getting further away. So if anybody knows what he's talking about, or if this is real, send us an email.
Yeah, I would actually love to. I didn't even think about doing an IQ point on that one. But Howard, like we said, Howard doesn't know how to sign that. Then Raj tries to be even more impressive and says, hey, tell her that I have the voice of James Earl Jones. It's like she doesn't know what he sounds like.
Why is this so hard for you to get, Raj?
He's so terrible at dating. And then it flashes forward, and and then he talks about starting the boy band. Frankie goes Bollywood, and we already talked about the Bollywood signing that isn't correct. And then he wants her to know that, yeah, I had servants, but don't like seem all braggy, but just say like, yeah, he had servants, so, like it's no big deal.
I'm surprised why they're not thinking like, and he said things in the past that made me think he was really wealthy. Uh, for him to have servants and servants that you could force into being in a boy band with him, like as a friend, I'd be like, you had enough money to have servants just to play with you, like that would blow my mind.
I
So
know they should have seen this coming.
yeah,
Well, now we flash forward again, and Emily is telling them a Christmas story of her getting a dog. It starts off sweet, but it ends very sad. And Howard is texting Bernadette. He's like, it's fine, it's fine. No, no, no. Stop sighing. Stop, 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 stop.
sad face, sad face. And it's just like poking at her throat, like
Yeah.
oh no.
Now we flash forward again, and it's the end of the date. Raj is trying to point out the constellation, and Howard again not wanting to translate. Howard's a good friend for like enduring it this long.
Yeah. And we know several hours have gone by because they entered the cafe and like it got dark, they were cleaning up and now they're outside. Like I don't know if I maybe an hour at tops I would do that for a friend. After that, I'm like, I gotta go.
So yeah, man, I have a twin asparagus dish to pick out.
Yeah.
Well, then he's like freaking out, like, oh, should I kiss her? And then she kisses him. And
Aw.
then he thinks that he crushed the date. They kind of fight over who really won the date. And they agree that she kissed both of them.
I love that. And they're both like, okay, yeah. Like I
Yeah.
love that they agree on it. Like, yeah, she kissed us both.
But Howard, you're engaged. You shouldn't give a shit.
Right.
Well, now we're back at the apartment, and the dice told Sheldon to grow a mustache. Or at least where to like shave his face. Like what percentage. So it's like, how many questions is he asking? I thought for him it would be shave or not shave, but it's like what
Right.
percentage?
And that's not a question he asked because he's already in the habit of doing it, right? So like he's starting to
Yeah. Ask everything. The dice is making every decision, but apparently his method has been working. He says in the past few weeks, unburdened by trivial decisions, he's co authored 2 papers in notable peer reviewed journals, and he's close to figure out why the Large Hadron Collider has yet to isolate the Higgs boson particle, which we've talked about in the past. It's like one of the major things that he's kind of working on. But apparently the dice told him not to wear underwear. So it giveth and it taketh.
Chafed
They point
balls.
out yeah. They point out that Raj is out with Emily, and they've been out every night in the last month. And in that time, Raj got her diamond earrings, leased a car, and paid off her credit cards. And then they kind of question if she's a gold digger. And Penny is like, no, 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 no. She's deaf. Deaf people are nice.
Handicapped people are good people. Like,
yeah, it kind of goes into like the trope, and I guess I don't know if it's a stereotype that all handicapped people are just nice people.
mm-hmm. Her dedication that like no.
Yeah.
I laughed really hard at that. Handicapped
Well,
people are
but
nice.
Sheldon has information on the situation, but he can't tell them because of the dice. But Penny outwits him and says, no, no, it's a double, so roll again. And I love her a little eye roll, like, ugh, Sheldon, like, why do I have to play these games with you? Like, but it's nice that she's just like big sister kind of thing. Like she knows how to dick with him.
Yeah.
She knows how to kind of play him. And then Sheldon rolls again, and then he has to tell them. He tells them that he has insight that the Kutherpalis are vastly wealthy. He was a notary. He became a notary and notarized some banking documents for Raj, and they're richy rich. And I did write it down, but it was somewhere. But what was it between Bruce Wayne and Scrooge McDuck?
Yeah, that's what I got. So I get not an IQ point. 1 point for being like Sheldon. Sheldon explaining what this means when he says they're vastly wealthy, and Penny says, oh, what does she say? What does that mean? And he says, vastly means a large amount, and wealthy means a lot of money. What's tripping you up?
I'm not
What's
sure where I lost you.
yeah? And I see myself saying that and acting that way, but like not just because I'm being completely sarcastic, but like I don't know how else to explain. So I'd be like, vastly means extensive, and wealthy means a lot of money. What do you need?
It's kind of like when you do something and someone repeats what you just said as like a question, and you're just kind
Yeah.
of like, I don't know how else to explain this to you.
I
Like,
don't know.
what do you think of that I mean when I say that?
If I try explaining it more, it's gonna make us all feel dumb. So I'm not gonna try.
Well, upon this news, Leonard decides to call his girlfriend Priya, whom he loves so vastly much.
Of course he
Hope he
does.
locks that shit down. And Penny's like, crap, I could have dated Raj for a couple of months, but that would be wrong.
That would be wrong.
And then Sheldon says that he has to. Then he rolls the dice, and then he's like, go nowhere.
So, excuse me, but I have to sit right back down.
We cut to the gym, and they're there to confront Emily. And Howard notices all the pretty girls at the gym, and he's he explains to Penny that Bernadette doesn't care where he gets the motor running as long as he parks the car in the same spot.
It's so grotesque, but I love
Uh,
the metaphor, the analogy.
yeah.
As long as I park in the right garage.
Well, Emily shows up and Penny tries to be delicate, but Howard isn't paying attention. And then, just like with the date with Raj, he gets a little lazy and just like, oh, are you a gold digger?
Not
And then
very
she kind of
nice.
tactful at all.
Tactful, yeah.
She gets mad, says a bunch of things, and storms off. Well, now we jump back over to Penny's apartment, and Raj confronts Penny about the incident. He is wasted. And then he just jumps into the assumption that Penny isn't over him, and he is sabotaging his relationship on purpose. He leaves, and she notes that, oh, wow, he's cuter now that I know that he has money. It's crazy what money does.
Right? It does magic.
Yeah. Could buy him a better wardrobe, though. But that's a whole other topic.
Whole different topic.
Well, now we're at Roger's apartment, and he gives Emily a Cartier ruby. And this is where I'm not going to call it an IQ point, but I did a little bit of research. I wanted to know how much this costed because you actually do get a pretty clear view of the ruby. And if you
Yeah.
go on the website, it's pretty much the same ruby that they have on there. It matches with the Destiny Pendant cushion cut ruby. So I hopped on the website to see how much this costs. But for some reason or not, I don't know why, but they're not really posting their prices right now. I'm not sure if all luxury sites are doing that or if that's just like a Cartier thing. So I reached out to a representative.
Oh, I know
So
sometimes
it,
when they're so expensive, they want you to contact them so that they can try to haggle you from the get go.
yep.
Where like a price point might set people off from even talking about it. So, what did you find out?
This took about a week to get the information. So it was some emails back and forth.
Hmm.
I learned that this item currently is not available in the United States. So they have
Mhm.
to ship it from overseas if I wanted it. So I did get an email finally after some back and forth on getting the price. I just said, I'm pricing things. I'm trying to figure out what I want to get and everything. And they said it was a ballpark range as rubies and gems come in various sizes. So I'm guessing
Mhm.
like each one's going to be, each necklace could be a little different, I guess.
Yeah.
But the one that they offered me was $23,800. So that's
Damn.
crazy if Raj got that. Granted, lately I've heard in the luxury world, prices are starting to increase
Hmm.
overall, even with like what's happening with the American economy and everything like that. It's like things are still getting more and more expensive. And I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. It could be tariffs, it could be anything else, it could be the luxury world just taking advantage of the situation. But
Yeah.
I'm guessing it wasn't this price in 2011, but right now 23,000. So he loves Emily. And then he gets a call from his parents. And I love his dad in this. He's because Raj, I love the first thing that Mr. Koothrappali says. He's like, Raj says, "Oh, what a nice surprise." No, it's not a nice surprise. It's a bad surprise.
It's a bad surprise.
Penny called and told them what's up. And they give him an ultimatum. It's either you could be with Emily or you could have the family money. And he chooses love, which Mr. Koothrappali, well, gotta love him. He's like, "You're an idiot. Love doesn't last." And the look on the wife's face, classic.
I love that she looks mad, but she doesn't deny
Yeah.
it. She's like, "You don't like. I love you." Like it's just kind of like, don't say that. Don't admit
don't
to that. But
don't
it's
tell
true.
him that. He's like, well, he's gonna find out eventually.
I
Then he
was
tells,
also thought it was funny in the scene where oh sorry, that Raj says that Emily gives him stuff too, and I don't know if I realized his dad was a gynecologist. I think it might have been mentioned before, and he's like, "I'm
yeah.
a gynecologist. I've seen exactly what she gives you." Like, what the?
I think he's referring to like, dude, you're only getting sex out of this. Like,
Yeah, yeah. It's just the fact that he's talking about like I've seen like close up and personal. Like, oh,
like, I
Dad, I
know
don't want
what
you
you're
to talk.
like, I know what you're getting.
I know what you're kidding.
Well, Raj breaks the news to Emily that he's been cut off, and they're going to need to return a bunch of the items, the car, the ruby. But it's okay because they're in love. And
Love.
they hug, and she kind of makes a face like, maybe not.
See, you don't need sign language to know what her face is saying,
Yep.
right? It's a body expression.
Well, now we're back over at Penny's apartment, and Raj is crying. He misses her so much that he even mutes the TV to pretend that she's around. But he can't watch the closed captioning without crying. And then he thinks that Penny is hitting on him, and we find out that if he dates an Indian girl, he'll get a Maserati. And now we end at the Cheesecake Factory, and Raj is eating cheesecake, which is just as good as a woman, even though he can't have sex with it. Unless he heats it up.
I get 1 point for being like Howard here, not because I would have recommended him heating it up, but he said, "I love you as much as a woman. I just can't have sex with you." And the first thing I thought was, "Can't you?" And then Howard made his comment like that. That's a point for
Yeah.
Howard. Says he can't have
Like,
sex.
you could if you
You
really want
could.
to. Well, Sheldon is still doing his dice thing, and he is unable to go to the bathroom. But they all are done eating, and they stick the bill to Raj because they know he's rich, and he better tip well.
I'm curious. Sheldon says that he had 4 buttermilks. Do you know anybody who drinks buttermilk? Like, you can't even get that at a restaurant, but do you know anybody who drinks buttermilk regularly?
No.
I've tried it before,
Actually,
straight
yeah,
up.
you meant it's very ill.
Right?
It's
It's
not
like
something you.
sour.
Yeah, I wonder how he even rolled that. It's like a good point. I didn't even flag that. Yeah.
That makes sense that he rolled it and it made him get a buttermilk. I was thinking he was just drinking it, but it's so odd that it makes sense. I've known some old people who drink it, like, "Oh, I'm going to dinner and getting my buttermilk" type thing. So it must be that, just a random roll. That makes more sense now. I'm like, why the hell would he have 4 buttermilks? But then again, if he's rolling the dice, maybe he's like, it says 4 buttermilks, so makes sense.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, mystery solved.
But it wouldn't even be on the menu though.
It wouldn't. I don't think so.
Unless he was going based off like the word count or something on the menu, and then it ended up on buttermilk waffles, but he just had to go with the buttermilk.
Can I just have the buttermilk from the waffles?
Yeah. I don't know, but that's the end of the episode.
The end.
And now we're on to the vanity card. We are on Chuck Lorre Productions number 356. When I started writing vanity cards way back in 1995, few people noticed them. Most of those who did assumed they were some sort of legal boilerplate. Heck, even if someone got curious and hit pause on their VCR, there was no guarantee they'd be able to read the darn things. Now, forget about it. Every card gets parsed and analyzed like it was a canticle for Lebel. It was Canticle for Leibowitz. Great book, check it out. The jokes are taken way too seriously, and the stories all have to have a secret meaning. Sometimes a junkie monkey is just a junkie monkey. Don't get me wrong, there's a part of me that loves to exploit this silliness. What other possible reason would I have to write the following poem? He knew where the bodies were buried, because they weren't buried deep. Always follow the money. Silence don't come cheap. So funny because we're kind of analyzing them.
Right? He didn't expect anybody to. I have to say, I'm pretty sure this is like the third time I've heard about Canticle for Leibowitz in the past like week, and I can't remember what else made me think of it. But I really don't know where I heard about it or why I was talking about it, but it came up.
When I first saw that word, I thought it was Lebowski.
Lebowski.
I was like, wait a minute, that's not right.
For Halloween, I was the walking dude who is if you ever read or watched The Stand, he's the villain and he wears like all denim and he has like little buttons on his denim jacket. Usually they're happy faces. I didn't have a happy face one. But I always think it was funny because I posted on that I was the walking dude online and I'm like, somebody misreads this and just says the dude from Big Lebowski, they'd be really
Yeah.
confused. Like, you don't look like the fucking dude at all.
I saw that a long time ago. I don't even remember that guy.
Which one?
I saw The Stand like a
Oh,
long,
the
long,
Stand.
long
Yeah.
time ago. So
Yeah, he's mostly all denim. Although in the new one, he's played by one of the Skarsgårds, I believe.
there's a new Stand.
Mm, it came out like
Huh.
3 years, maybe 5 years ago. Like I think
Oh,
during
yeah.
COVID or something. It's a newer one. It's got the guy who played I want to say he was one of the first Supermen, and it had quite a few people in
Ralph,
it.
Brandon Routh.
Is that his name? I'm gonna look this up. He was also in that show where it was like a jury and it was like reality television, but everybody on the jury in the courtroom was like a actor
Oh,
except for one
Marsden.
guy.
It was
What was it?
Marsden, James Marsden. No, not
Maybe.
James Marsden. Wait, Cyclops.
Yes, Cyclops.
Is that James Marsden, or am I thinking of someone else?
I'm so bad at names. James Marsden, yep.
Yeah.
Alexander Skarsgård is Randall Flagg, the walking dude. Amber Heard is in it. Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh,
Uh,
was this in the theaters?
no, I think it was just TV
Oh,
because I think it was too long to make into like a single movie. It had to be like an
hmm.
episode thing, I think.
Oh, it was like an LT. I was gonna call it a LTO, a limited time, a
Oh,
limited series. LTO, we call limited time offerings.
Bryan Cranston plays the president. I forgot that. Interesting. It's not the best ever, but it's fun enough. it's
Well, all right. Any other comments on this episode?
that's all I have. I thought it was funny. I look forward to where we're going. I thought some great characterization. We see the progress. There we go. Of the wedding is happening. The long distance relationship is still going on and surviving for more than just at least a couple weeks. It's kind of interesting that Penny doesn't seem to be dating anybody long term. Something to keep in mind. Their friendships, they're having basically girl sleepovers and boy sleepovers across the hall. That was funny. And I like seeing Raj getting some dating experience and trying to find himself, and how can he learn to communicate with women when he does want to have a relationship, and how does he work around his shortcomings.
Yep.
So yeah.
Awesome. Looking forward to watching more. Thanks again for listening. Don't forget to email us at theoreticalnonsensepod@gmail.com. Again, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star and we'll give you a shout out. And we'll see you next time when we discuss Season 5, Episode 5, The Russian Rocket Reaction. Thanks for
Yay.
listening. This was Theoretical Nonsense, the Big Bang Theory Watch Along podcast. No PhD required. Our intro and outro music is by Alex Grohl. Thanks for listening.